Howdy everybody, welcome to another episode of building the training grounds at Tradition Farm. So we are about 1 week post spreading the seed right now, and unfortunately we still don't have a lot of action in terms of seeing signs of progress with the seed. So conditions haven't been ideal, but they haven't been terrible either. We've basically gotten rain 3 separate times. So the first night after I spread that seed, we got about 2/3 of an inch of rain, and it was a pretty hard rain that came through pretty quick. And then maybe a couple, 2 or 3 days later, we got a tornado that rolled through just to the south of here. That brought a pretty hard rain, and we got probably a little under an inch that night, once again in a pretty short time span, within a couple hours or so. And then maybe a couple days after that, we got another storm that rolled through, and that was probably another 3/10 of an inch in a short time span. So yeah, with it coming in with hard rains like that, there's a little bit of risk of washing out some of the seed, which I don't think is too much of a concern here. I think most of the seed, a lot of it's still pretty well in place, but it does, it comes and it doesn't keep things moist throughout the day, which is more ideal. So in a perfect world, I would have been able to water this consistently to keep it moist, because there are some areas that dry up super quick. Like after that little less of an inch of rain that we got, the next day it was 80 something degrees, and it was very dry on the surface in lots of areas. So in my mind, I've had an idea rigged up on how to somewhat efficiently water all this land, but unfortunately the water pump that I wanted to get from Harbor Freight was out of stock in town, and I just haven't been able to get to the closest one, which would be in stock, which would be like Springfield or Kansas City, which I don't really have time to make a quick trip over there at the moment, but just kind of waiting for it to get back in stock. And then I've got this IBC tote, which is probably roughly 300 gallons, that I will pump pond water into and then use that to spray the path, but I just haven't had time yet. So we are hosting our conference championship today, tomorrow, and Sunday. So really don't have the flexibility to get anything done. So it's just kind of staying dry out here, and don't have any rain in the forecast in the near future. So kind of not really panicking, but a little nervous that I'm not doing a good enough job with this seed. So yeah, we'll just see. It's the Bermuda takes a little bit longer to see some action. So I've heard 7 to 10 days for that to start seeing some action. So hopefully soon. I do expect it to take a little longer, I guess, just because conditions haven't been ideal. But yeah, anyways, that's kind of the update I have for you right now. So on to hosting this track meet, and then hopefully back to work on the land here in a few days. All right, everybody, we are back from a successful conference championship, and now I'm back to work at the farm. So this morning, much needed mowing of the land. So always satisfying getting a fresh mow and seeing how everything looks. So mowing and weed eating done. There was some more dirt work done out here, trying to fix some low areas where water pooled up and would definitely be an issue in the future, even when the grass grows. And then we also leveled out an area next to the grass track to make some really good footing in that spot, where we can incorporate it into our warm-ups when we're just doing like drills and whatnot. So just making sure we're not rolling ankles while we're doing that kind of stuff. So I'm going to throw down some grass seed in that spot and roll it, and then I might throw some hay over it as well in that spot. Supposed to have some rain coming in tonight, so yeah, let's get to work on that. All right, so that is the seed down. That is a contractor's mix, so it's just kind of like a mixture of rye and fescue. So it's supposed to come in pretty quick. I'm not too worried about this area being like super nice grass, but just wanted it to be level, so I didn't want to have to worry about planting really nice Bermuda right here. But yeah, now it's time to go grab the tractor and roll over this. that is this whole area rolled, and it's kind of weird here in the middle. There's some areas where it's like a big air pocket underneath, and no matter how many times I rolled over it, it just does not stay down. So we'll see if a big rain comes through and makes this settle down and then just kind of creates a big hole or something. I don't know. We'll see. It's kind of like a trampoline of some sort. It's really, really weird. So anyways, now I think I'm gonna get on to spreading some hay over this. Got some old bales of hay that were left here, so I thought about spreading that over the whole path to help retain some moisture, but I don't know, I was just kind of hesitant because a bunch of weeds could end up growing from it, I guess, and if you don't really know exactly how pure the hay is and whatnot. But this area here, again, I'm not trying to keep like super nice. I just wanted to have it good and level to where we don't have to worry about rolling an ankle. So kind of upset that I have this big tote in the back of my truck for a project here in a couple days, and I don't really want to get it out because it's kind of heavy and awkward to get out on your own, even though I can do it. But yeah, I'm going to load up my truck with hay with what I can, and just see if I can get this whole area spread tonight. Okay, before we spread some hay, I got really curious, so I grabbed a shovel. I'm going to dig out an area where it's really airy underneath and see what it's like. I'm not quite sure what's going on. It just seems to be mud down there, but sometimes when I get the shovel in there, it sounds like air kind of releases, so maybe there's just like a bunch of air pockets. I'm not sure, but anyways, that was enough for the curiosity. I guess I'll fill it back in and get to the actual work now. All right, we'll see how far this hay gets me. So that's another day of seeding down, and once again working well into the dark. So did the best I could to spread the hay as evenly as I could and get at least some form of coverage over the whole patch, but it's probably not the greatest. There's only so much you could do when I can't see, but essentially did 2 truckloads minus the area of where my big plastic tote is in the back, but that covered quite a bit. So we'll see what it looks like tomorrow, I guess. More rain on the way tomorrow, so hopefully, and I think it should be kind of steady and consistent throughout the day, so that should be a good day of watering for all the seed out here. And then in a couple days, might get to work on some watering from my pond out there. So it's the next day, pretty chilly and very windy outside right now, but I've walked around quite a bit and seen that the grass is starting to poke through in several places. So we're 12 days out from spreading all the seeds. So the perennial rye had started coming in maybe 4-ish days ago. Started seeing first signs of that then, and now I'm starting to see signs of the Bermuda in several areas. So nice to see that it's actually coming through. And then as far as spreading the hay last night, I actually did a better job than I thought I did, but there's definitely still some bare spots, and I'm gonna go touch that up outside right now actually, get a little more hay down, and I've seen the birds out there picking at it, so I'm sure they're eating some of the seed. But yeah, hopefully I can get some more hay down and alleviate that with the birds eating it. So yep, back to work. So I'm pretty content with the spreading of the hay now. Kind of worked out perfectly and was killing 2 birds with 1 stone, because there was this one spot where there was kind of this messy hay bale that wasn't really wrapped up, and I was able to use all of that, and that covered all this ground pretty much perfectly. So kind of going to be a little experiment, I guess, to see how well this grass grows compared to the rest of it. which it's not exactly a one-to-one comparison either because this is a different type of seed. But yep, that's it for that task, and on to something else later. Howdy everybody. So tonight's task, don't have too much time to do this, but just got back from work and have a little bit of daylight left. I want to go around the path and look for any roots that are left out there and just get those out, just to clear out any obstructions at all from what we could possibly step on. So I got my loppers back out, and I figured this would just be easier to do while there's not grass on the path, easier to spot them anyways. So yeah, just gonna walk around and see what I can find and get as many of those out as I can. So that was a good amount of roots removed, but as expected, just didn't have enough daylight to thoroughly cover everything. So, but good progress. And then tomorrow, got an exciting day to break out some new equipment. All right, howdy everybody, welcome to a new day. And today's project is to water the path. So what the process is going to be here is that I bought a 2-inch water pump from Harbor Freight, and we are going to try pumping water out of the pond into an IBC tote that's in the back of my truck. It's probably like 300-ish gallons, and bought that for like 40 bucks from someone south of here. So pump water into that, and then I can drive the truck to various points on the loop and spray from there. So I've got a kind of like a 2-inch hose that's got a kind of fire hose nozzle at the end that has a pretty good spray distance. So with the hose being 100 feet long and the spray distance being maybe 40 or 50 feet long, theoretically I should have about a 300-foot range from the truck, because I can go 150 feet one way and 150 feet the other way. So we're gonna kind of test this out and see how long it takes to water the whole path, and got some good help today, so we're excited to get onto it and see how this goes.
That splash shot, bro. That was wet. Bro. We are so boned, so we're trying to not be boned.